Hello everybody, it is Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life and welcome to my March layout share. This is gonna be a long one, you guys. I had 30 days of sketches, three subscriber, not mine, but 3 crafter milestone hops and 2 other layouts that are in here. So there's a lot. We'll see. I might split it in half if I need to, but yeah, go get some coffee or something. Let's dive right in. I will try to remember what day it is. I'll try to get the photo up, like the sketch up, so you can see, and I will do the best that I can. Kicking off, we started the month all the way back. It feels like forever ago, but Virginia from Confessions of a Paper Addict celebrated her shop's 2-year anniversary, birthday, whatever you want to call it. And so we all had a fun hop to celebrate that. She released, I think it was 8 different celebratory cut files for the month of March to celebrate. They were fabulous. So I've used a couple of them. This was the one I used for the hop itself. I also combined it with using a bit of the Magical Birthday Boy collection from Echo Park. I was guest designing for Scrapbook Your Joy with that collection. And this is one where it's just sprinkled in a couple places. So really love how this one turned out. The photos are of my son's birthday, kind of when he came home from school. This is what was waiting for him. And I tried to make it special for him because we didn't do a birthday party or anything else for him with friends due to, COVID. So this is what he got. Lots of fun balloons and he liked it. So that was kind of his birthday wall, and I wanted to have something special with that. And so I felt like the banners with the happy birthday banner, it all tied itself in together. So there's that one. This one is for day 1 of 30 days of sketches. I used a pre-mixed media background. Then I stenciled on top of that with just a mist that I sprayed. And then I took some acrylic paint and did a stenciling in like a dot one that looks like snow around the photos. The photos are of when my kids got to build a snowman this is honestly like the first time they got to build a snowman that was like that big. We do not normally get snow like that. It just isn't good snowman making snow. However, I was able to, we got a good bunch right before Christmas. We got some really good snow. So the kids had lots of fun playing. I got this little snowman used up, a bit of stash and some wood veneer. I did kind of try to work through my wood veneer a little bit, so you're going to see that pop up here and there. And of course, I kicked off the month with a circle themed sketch because I personally love circles. I find them actually pretty easy to work with. Circles and banners. Here's another birthday. Now this one I created, I believe it was one of my design team days for Confessions of a Paper Addict. So this is for sketch 2, like day 2. But I also used the cut file from Confessions of a Paper Addict and Spiegel Mom's scrap sequence with their special, Jody has had, I don't know if she still does, but this cool foil stuff in her shop, and so I went ahead and used that too. So this actually might be a Spiegel Mom Scraps design team layout now that I think about that. But again, with the wood veneer, here's an up close photo of Jackson holding that really cool balloon that it is like a game controller, so he thought that was pretty cool. It was an epic birthday for him, and I just had fun playing. Again, a pre-mixed media background. Those are going to be everywhere. My one and only Calvin ball layout. I kind of failed with Calvin ball this year. I hadn't really high hopes to play to, but it didn't end up working, which is totally fine. I saved all of the ideas and the prompts, and I might go on another month when it's not so busy and kind of follow it as the dates were in Calvin ball and just do my own. We'll see. But this is the one layout I got done documenting last year's anniversary. We actually just celebrated 8 years in March. So fun little close-up photo of us and some of our drinks. I do believe that I accidentally mixed these. I think this might be from Sean's birthday because of the fact that we were in lockdown when during our anniversary last year. So I'm not exactly sure. Yes, so this one was a fun one. I did lots of layers and some cut files and some sequins and some layers down here. This is a really good stash busting one, including a little bit of mixed media. So I really liked how this one turned out. All right, on to day 3 of 30 Days of Sketches. This one was one of the 5 collections that Moira and I kind of decided we needed to kill some of our stuff before we did more shopping. And so this was one of the 5 collections I chose to use. It is from Simple Stories. It was a very girly collection and I just made it work for me. And these adorable photos of Nora playing dress up. So it worked really well, kind of combining it all together. And it's fun and playful and whimsical and girly and just everything that kind of encases what the photos are about and what Nora is about. I liked that one. That one came together pretty easy, which was nice as well. This one is starting, so for the month of March, my How to Kill a Kit with Style was to use up Storyteller from Vicki Boutin. So this was one of the first layouts I did with that. I did go ahead and fussy cut out all those florals you can see there. It was a bit of work, but I love how it turned out. I did a little bit of machine stitching. This is about the only machine stitching I did. Some sequins and then added some of the ephemera. The photos are of Canada Day from last year, just of me. I did want to document what Canada Day was like, but I wanted one that was more about me. Just being, like I said, being COVID, I need to get my thoughts out, and scrapbooking them is kind of how I go about it. There's that one. I really do like this. There is a pre-mixed media background in that background as well. It's just a tiny little bit poking through, but it is there. This would be day number 5. The kids swinging. This was, well, Barrett's a baby, so, you know, 2019, I would say. Summer, probably 2019. And poor Barrett, he hasn't been to a lot of parks, so swings are not his favorite thing in the world, but he was pretty okay there. This is a really great stash busting one. I used a whole bunch of stuff from my stash, including this. It was 2 6x6 papers I lined up, and then just some other ephemera and all of that. And I made the sketch work for me, did a little bit of fussy cutting, and yeah, dove into my scraps for this one. Okay, now this one is probably one of my favorites for the whole entire month. I loved it. This is to celebrate Rebecca. She had her 500 subscriber milestone hop, and so we all scrap lifted her. And I loved her layout. She had a layout that had very prominent visual triangle, and I'm drawn to that. I love visual triangles, and so I took that on, but went with my style. I used the pre-mixed media background, did some watercolors on some cut files, and used my photos, did the visual triangle, added some sequins, and then just did the title, which what she was doing is she's at our old house in the front, and she'd go and say knock knock, and then it was either my mother-in-law or Sean that would open the door, and she'd say hi, she'd shut the door, and then she'd do it again. It was so funny. She loved it. But she's got this super cute little dress on, and it's Lilo and Stitch, and she's just adorable. So I love, 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 love this one. Okay, so this would be day 6 because that was day 5. Yeah, so day 6, and I went Christmas themed. This was a Confessions of a Paper Addict design team day as well. So I took the cut file, and I took like when you pull the cut file and you have like the leftovers, I sprayed it with a bunch of mist, and then I put the cut file back. I kind of cut it. It said the word Noel, but I wanted you to see the misting, so I cut it and used it as layers instead. Put my photo on top. It is a mixture of the Coco Vanilla Studios Christmas collection and a maybe a Cartabella, so you wouldn't think it goes together, but I made it work, and I love it. The photos are of this year, like this past Christmas, and it was just their Christmas jammies. So I had a unicorn, Santa with reindeer. I loved his little onesies. And then Jackson only wanted pajama pants, and his are little T-Rexes with Santa hats on them. So pretty cute. I really do like how this one turned out. And the photo, I love that photo. I've learned to take what they give me and enjoy it, and I almost love these random photos as much as the perfectly staged ones. All right, so number 7, and this particular sketch, so JQ Crafty, so Jackie, picked this sketch, and I messaged her, and I'm like, seriously, no. You're not allowed to pick sketches anymore. I really struggled with this one. I made it work in the end, and what everyone else did was amazing. I loved what everyone else did. So I'll probably go back and revisit this sketch with almost as a scrap lift versus the sketch. But I made it work using, again, the collection from Echo Park. So I got this from Scrapbook Your Joy. The photo is of Sean's birthday from last year. He turned 36. And I used another cut file from Confessions of a Paper Addict and just made it work. Used some layers and just kind of did what I could do. I like the layout. I really do like it. The sketch just kind of threw me. So it took me a while to get here, but I am happy with the final results. All right, so 8, right? We're on to 8. And this one was, I love this sketch. I had no problems with this sketch. I used the pink paisley and Mini More collection, which is all birthday themed. Went ahead and used that. A little bit of my stashes in here as well. But I used this gorgeous photo I took. So Jackson was in preschool way before COVID happened. And we would have Mother's Day tea every year. It was really fun. So I took a photo of my teacup, the flowers, and then look at this. Jackson's giving me a little smooch there on the cheek, and I just love that photo. And so I made it work. I did the triangles. I made these triangles way more complicated than I needed to be, but it's totally fine. Made it work. Did the kind of starburst that you see there. And I love it. I used a pattern paper for my background. I used some stars in the background with my modeling paste. And yeah, just lots of fun things layered in some flowers, and it just all came together. This one is one of my favorites as well. I like the spring feel to it. I just love that photo. So probably a combination of that. Okay, here is another that I really like. Nora for last Halloween was a vampire kitty, I think. A bat cat. I don't really know what she was, but she found this dress and she had to have it. So I was like, okay, it was like $15, and I'm like, we can spend that on a Halloween outfit. I'm totally fine with that. So we grabbed that, put on some leggings for her, got her some cat ears, and she was just so happy. Loved it. She was so easy. And so that is what it's documenting, and just like costume goals, like how easy and how happy she was just picking the simplest thing out. So I used all the bats from this little Halloween collection that had a hint of girl to it, and then all of the ephemera that was nodded towards girls, I went ahead and used that. Used a cut file, a pre-mixed media background, and then I did my own stenciling with a stencil and some, I think this is some modeling paste that was pretty old. I went ahead and did that. I also broke into my cute girl collection. Now I have been hoarding this collection because let's think about how old that is. But I've been hoarding it. I only have the pattern papers, and I broke into it. So chances are I'm probably going to bring that collection back out for a How to Kill a Kit with Style in the next couple months, and we'll have a look. But yeah, I really do love how this one turned out as well. It's cute. All her too. And here's another Nora photo. I did a nice variety, actually. I feel like I have a good combination. But here's another one of Little Miss Nora. She was our very first birthday, COVID birthday. And so, yeah, we locked down on the 16th of March, and her birthday was on the 25th of March. So we had plans to take her and do something very special with her and Sean and myself, and we didn't get to do it, but she still got to wear her adorable little birthday dress that was passed to her from her niece. That was really fun. This sketch was so much fun. It was a Susanna Lee sketch. I just simply added in a third chevron versus the two, a little clustering there, and then I used some ephemera that I've had and a cut file as well. It just all kind of came together. A tiny bit of mixed media. Pretty simple but impactful, and she's just so cute. Oh, she's so cute. And that line was a Maggie Holmes line, by the way. All right, now that was, I've lost count of where we were. 8, 9, 10. I think this might be day 11, and I love these photos as well. I really tried to use some of my favorite stuff, and that included breaking into this gorgeous, gorgeous collection that, again, I've been hoarding, but I used it for this one. It had started off with some scraps, but I couldn't make the scrap papers work. So instead, I brought in this instead, and this just worked perfectly. The title just fit there. And really, it's all about how Nora, it's November here, and it was okay weather, but it wasn't short weather. But there she was in a long sleeve shirt and shorts and her boots, and they were playing in the mud. So this girl has no fear, and that's what this is talking about. And they're just, I'm not really sure what they're looking at, but they're having fun. So yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so that was 11. This must be 12. Here is another one of the collections that I needed to use, or I wanted to get myself to use, and it is Pink Fresh Studio, just a little lovely collection. I have one more layout to use with it, and it's killed as well, so I did a really good job. I cut into all of the pattern papers, which hurt my heart because they're so pretty, but I was able to make it work, and I love how this turns out. It's very striking to me, but you still see the and the emphasis is still on there, and I still got a lot used up. Everything about this worked really well. The best way to tie it all in together for me was doing the outlining of all of the banners in black, and then the border. It just really helped make everything pop, but look like it belonged together, which it does because it's the same collection. But sometimes pattern mixing, even within its own collection, can be tricky. So that is how I was able to make this one work. This one came together really fast as well. There wasn't a whole lot to it. And again, a pre-mixed media background. I used a ton of those. All right, day 13. Yes, this one I feel like I struggled with this one actually, now that I think about it. I didn't know where to take it. So in the end, it was a very simplistic sketch, and that threw me. I don't do well with simplicity like that. So I started with the background. I grabbed this. This particular collection is the Cozy Days collection from Simple Stories. It is the last one of those 5 that I needed to use. And so I broke into that. You're going to see this collection coming up in the last videos as well. A cut file that had some pumpkins to it that you can't even see. So I ended up just using it as a layering piece, but I did use this cut file and sprayed it like I had done on the other one in blue. So you can kind of see a blue tone popping up, and then I placed the cut file on top of that. I had originally only had this one photo, but then I was able to tuck in these two as well. So the whole family is documented on this, and I don't have to make another layout or a page, pocket page or anything. It's all just here, which worked really well. And then I added all the little bits that made you think of food, because this is documenting pumpkins. So I like that, the jam, the pumpkin spice jar, the candle, I guess maybe not, but you put the candles in the pumpkin. So that all worked. A really fun title. So Pumpkin Kisses and Harvest Wishes, my journaling, and then my cute little, oh, I love this little guy. It's the raccoon holding the pumpkins, and just did a little bit of everything. Here is where you can see I didn't do my stitching. However, this layout is calling for some stitching around the edges. I haven't done it. I probably will before this goes away, or before I do say my album is actually complete for 2019, go back and do stitching. This month was not the month for that type of stitching, and so I chose not to do it. But I did get the effect from the sketch with the mixed media, so that made. All right. right, so here is, I think this might be a combination one actually. So this would be day 14. And yes, this one is day 14. Okay, I've got it right. I used a cut file from Confessions of a Paper Addict. This was also a design team layout for them. This was the free cut file for the month of March. And I loved it. And it matched my daughter's new bedding she got. She got a little bit of an early birthday present because the little princess opened up the box, saw the unicorn, pulled it up. And yeah, so she got her bedding early. But that's what this one is about. I love how this one ended up turning out. A little bit of mixed media, using some more of, this is the second part of the collection, the girly collection that I needed to get used up. And yes, I really do love how it turned out in the end. It all kind of just fit in together. Here's today 15, we're halfway through. This one is a combination for both day 15 of 30 Days of Sketches, but also Everyday Inspiration, which is the fun series that I do with some of my other scrappy friends. And Dolly posted the inspiration photo for this month, and I took it on by just the fact that it was blocked, and then used the sketch as well, and ended up with this Christmas layout featuring way back in I think this would be 2017, and Jackson got a shark tent and he just thought it was the coolest thing ever. So that is what it's documenting. I'm using up some of pattern paper from Paige Evans that was the little squares, and I finished that up to create this with a pre-mixed media background and a little bit of Christmas themed embellishing. All right, here is one for the telephone hop. I followed Hannah for this one. Her layout was gorgeous, as everything she creates is. She is one of the mixed media queens in the scrappy world, and so it was a little intimidating, but I took it on and I'm pleased with how it turned out. Totally fits the photo of Nora doing some drawing and all of that. Just it all worked out, so I love it. I really love how it turned out. I did a whole bunch of stuff. There's a process video for this if you want to see it, because it took a couple layers and a couple days to figure it all out, but in the end. So on to day 16, and this is one I went farther back even more. This is Jackson as a toddler. I think he's about 3 in this photo possibly, and he's talking to the goat, and it's the cutest thing ever. So this was using my How to Kill a Kit with Style. I did the banners, cut file from Confessions of a Paper Addict, and just made the sketch work for me, and I love it. It's the photo. The photo makes this entire layout completely, for sure. It's my favorite. All right. Day 17, I went ahead and used some more of the Simple Stories line, but these are actually photos taken in March. We went for a walk. It was our first walk down our blueberry patch field for the season, and we got crazy muddy, but it was tons of fun, and Barrett loved it. He made it the entire way, and it is like a mile walk, so I was very proud of him. So I wanted to document that, and I used the floral paper and just tried to make it all work for me. And this is definitely another one of my, I think we're on to 18. We're getting there though. Here is again my How to Kill a Kit with Style, but here's Barrett, and I really loved how this one, so the sketch I think was like this, but then I rotated it and just didn't do the sunburst that you can see in the sketch. I chose not to do that, but instead kind of just made it work for me. Again, cut file, some pattern paper, some stitching, hand stitching, and just using the bits and pieces I had left in the collection to make it work. There's a ton of layers around these photos, and they're just cute photos of him just being adorable in this little onesie that I meant to buy for his first Valentine's Day, but they were way too big, so he ended up wearing them a little bit later on, like April-ish, because he was probably a little too small, like too big for February. And then here, oh yeah, this is day 19 for sure. This is Nora's second birthday, and I love doing this using the same line that I used for the tea birthday, like the Mother's Day tea. So it's the M Anymore collection from Pink Paisley. Some hand stitching there, some mixed media. I fussy cut out the florals. I added my 2 photos. I didn't do the circular photo like you can see in the sketch. I just kind of made it work for my photos and what I wanted to do. And this just makes me happy. She's so cute. Did a lot of birthdays. Birthdays were documented a lot in this series. And then this one was for Kathy's milestone hop. So I believe she made it to 1,000 subscribers. And so we all scrap lifted something of hers. And I really loved her. She had done a really cool one where she used some of this, but I can't think of what you call it right now. Oh my goodness, I always forget the name of this. Anyway, so I went ahead and did it myself. Again, how to kill a kit with style. Use my photos, a cut file from Confessions of a Paper Addict where there's more stitching, and I just played, had tons of fun. I used enamel dots for bubbles, which I thought was fun. Some tickets, and I just really love how it turned out. The photos were taken at one of those big sports stores, and there was an aquarium there. Next to the sports store, there was a bowling alley that we were going to a birthday party for. So, but the kids loved. All right. Sorry, I'm really trying to get through this as efficiently as possible. Day 20, Spiegel Mom scraps all over the place. Look at that. I took all the sequins and I glued them down around everything. I love the bling. This is Nora's room right now, as it would look now. We're kind of rearranged her room a little bit. It's just got a big girl room, and she just absolutely loves it, and I love it. It's like the room I wish I had when I was a little girl, so it's really fun. I've had a lot of fun decorating it, and I've moved on to my boys' room now, so hopefully I'll have a fun layout to share about them as well. Mixed media. I tried with the sketch. I really just tried to do the 2 banners that were there with the photos overlaying. That's about all you get from it. But I was inspired by the sketch, and that's all that matters. You take the element that works for you and you run with it. So that's what I did with this one. This is again using that Simple Stories collection to help get through. All right. Day 21 is a fun one that included a page protector with just some added photos. But then here is the layout. I was a little liberal with this sketch, but I loved having my title here and then everything just kind of layered. This is a very special layout because of what it's documenting with my son and this horse. There's the exact same barn from the other layout. It's just larger. I cut both of them because I wasn't sure which one I wanted to work with. Chose the smaller one for that one, and then was able to utilize it here. I did do some hand stitching as well. A little bit of the Hello Lovely collection, or just a little Lovely collection, and was able to go ahead and get a little bit more of that used up for this one. I totally did not tell you the story of the horse. Okay, hold on. So the story is this horse. I do talk about it in my video, but we waited to see this horse. Another family was visiting it, taking selfies, yada, yada, yada. The family was not paying attention to the fact that there was not just our family, but like 3 families behind us that wanted to see this horse, and they just didn't care. And they just kept doing their thing, which whatever is their prerogative, it was fine. However, the horse ended up moving. He has like an L-shaped area, and then he can go out into the open outside of the barn. And the horse left this family, and so all the other families were like, okay, well, I guess we don't get a turn, and they left and went on to the other parts to see the other animals. And Jackson just kind of was watching, so we were looking at a few more animals within this part of the barn, and the horse kind of walked around the L and then came back where he is there, and Jackson got to spend time with the horse and pet the horse and hug the horse, and there were no other families behind us, and it was just a really good life lesson about karma and about taking turns. So that is what it is about, and it was just a very special moment, and Jackson really, it made his whole day that it did. All right. I like this one. This one I was not sure about at first, but now I look at it and I really like it. So it is a pre-mixed media background with me doing more mixed media on top of it and stenciling. Did my layering for the photos and then spread butterflies and sequins on it as well to kind of wrap it up. I don't know if, I guess you can say it looks like the sketch. You kind of see the influence there, but really I kind of took the idea of the mixed media behind a set of photos and ran with that, which is where this turned out. This is all about game night, and this was before Barrett, but we have this game where it's like a carton of fake eggs, and you put water in 3 of them, and then you spin this little thing, and you either crack an egg over your own head or over someone else's, and you're trying not to get the water ones. But anyways, it was really funny, and the best part is, at this time, Nora had no concept of the game, and she would just take the egg and crack it over her head, even if she didn't need to, and she got herself soaked. It was so funny. So yeah, this is a good one. But this one I did not like right when I created it, but I do now. So it grew on me. This one I like. I did this one for, I think, Spiegel Mom Scraps, but it's also using a cut file from Confessions of a Paper Addict, pre-mixed media background. And it was really fun to use kind of a bit of a girlier vibe to it for my son, even though like it just kind of all worked. And my favorite thing is that when I showed this to Jackson, he didn't say it looked girly. He just said, oh, look, Mom, it's a cool spring layout. So it was like a mom win that I'm teaching them that it doesn't matter. That sort of stuff doesn't matter. So I felt really good about that. But it's all about him taking his first bite into that Easter bunny, and he went right for the ear, which was funny. And it just was a cool shot and documented Easter from, I think this is 2019. All right, you guys, we're almost there. Here's one using some more of my How to Kill a Kit with Style. So that Storyteller collection with these cute photos of my little guy, layers. This is just the background. This is the paper it came at. And then I fussy cut the leaves. There's the birds and some tickets. And this was really getting down to the end of this. So I was just combining it all together. And I also, oh, you guys, I'm so sorry. This is going to be a struggle to the end. So I did do some thread and stuff, loose thread behind it as well. And yes, I just love these photos. This is just sitting outside, and he was just happy to be outside. So that was a good one to document. This one was for Christmas in July. So this was the 25th. We're almost there. I really didn't know how to use this sketch at all. Thankfully, I had some help from some scrappy friends, and Galaxy Girl, so Janet, was like, you know, if you flip it upside down, it's ornaments. I was like, oh my gosh. So that's what I went with. Photo for last year's holiday season. Merry everything and happy always. Not 100% sure where the cut files came from, but it is using cut files and stitching and sequins and a collection from crepe paper. Here's 26. This one's super simple. So this is finishing up that Just a Little Lovely collection with a cut file in the hexagon shape to work with the sketch. And then I just tucked in a few florals and added some wood veneer. So easy. This is also at the same pumpkin patch where he was with the horse, and they're just running free. And it was kind of the first time they've really been out to enjoy anything since COVID. So that is what this will talk about when I get to my journaling with it. But I love it. I sacrificed this pattern paper for this side because it just works so well, and that was hard for me, but I was able to make it work, and I'm really happy with how this turned out in the end. So simplistic, so not like me, but it works. All right, 27. This is again my How to Kill a Kit with Style. I do love this one. It's not the circle-y block thing at all. I totally took it off onto my own way, but it works, and I really love it. And this is the first photo taken on our farm when we moved. I think this was moving day. The kids ran down the our blueberry field, and it was just freedom, breath of fresh air, just all the things you can think of with our crazy moving adventure that we had. So that was good. This was definitely using up just the little bits that I had left, plus a couple bigger pieces of pattern paper that I had. Okay. Here's on to fall again. This was again using up what I had left, tucked in some Rosie Studio leaves And then this was something I had used for another day that didn't work out, but that's okay. I was able to use it for here. Photos of Barrett's first pumpkin patch, kind of just looking at that pumpkin, deciding if he likes it or not. And yeah, really simple. I didn't do a lot to this one, but with all the different patterns, it's quite impactful. So really pleased with how this one turned out. This just went up on my channel, and it just shows you how I just managed to get what I had, could use what I did, use one of the pre-made words and everything. He didn't love the pumpkin patch. He was kind of at that weird stage where he could crawl, he couldn't walk, it was muddy, and he wanted to be out, but he couldn't really be out, so he was frustrated and tired. All right, 29. Here's day 29. This was up just the other day. I decided to do tags instead of what you saw in the sketch, but I took on the L. That is where I was inspired, and then I ran with it. And again, using up the last little bits here, those were the takes from the collection. I used some stickers, added some sequins, and just kind of made it all work to document my rain jacket that I got. Bright yellow rain jacket, which is crazy because that's not really something I'd wear. But when Jackson was in kindergarten, we had to walk him from the car to his classroom, and it was a bit of a walk, a couple blocks. Whereas now he just gets dropped off right in front of his school since we moved. But I needed a rain jacket, and so I went with a bright yellow one, and that is what this one is talking about. And I think you can see the sketch, but really it was the L shape that I took on there. Okay guys, 2 more. Here's another L shape. So here is day 30, and I just chose not to take on the middle part where you can see the Santa in his sleigh. I just completely eliminated that and then just had the clusters. So basically that's the layout. And then I just rotated it and gave you a little sneak into what I'm using for my How to Kill a Kit with Style for the month of April, because this will be it, which you will see up tomorrow. I'll do that share for you, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I went ahead and I used the alphas. I used everything is just from that collection, and then added in some sequins as well. Played, had lots of fun with this one, even a little bit of mixed media on my own doing. So it looked like my photo are laying in the water, and then this is kind of the sand was in my brain how I made that work. I don't know if that really looks like that, but that's what my brain was telling me. So that was day 30, and we wrap up March with MK's subscriber milestone. I think it was 1,000 for her as well, and I loved the layout I picked of MK's. So she has this really cool blocked thing with pattern papers. They were both the same pattern papers with photos, and I took that idea and I literally used up the last bits I had of this collection to do this. So loved it, did my own mixed media and some drawing, and in the end it's perfect. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed March. I'll be back in April. Bye.